안녕하세요, Claudio입니다. Hey guys, Cloud here. Welcome back to another lesson recap. Today we'll be learning some essential Korean particles to level up your Korean skills. Quick note before we start. As the lesson mentioned, and as you may have noticed before, a lot of the times the subject of the sentence is dropped in Korean, especially when the subject is I. In English, we always say I'm hungry, but in Korean you just hear 배고파, since it's obvious I'm talking about myself. Alright, let's get into it. This lesson is divided into 5 parts. Part 1. Part 1. There we go. Part 1. The and using myot with counters. The is the Korean particle that makes things plural, so from apple to apples. It's not that simple though, since Koreans don't really distinguish between singular and plural as often as you think. Let's look at this sentence. 사과를 샀어요. This could mean I bought an apple, or I bought apples. If you really wanted to specify a number, you could, but in general you just leave it ambiguous. You could also say that you bought some apples, like such. 사과 몇 개를 샀어요. We could also change the meaning of the sentence simply by adding a question mark, or raising our intonation. So, 사과 몇 개를 샀어요? What you cannot do though is the following. 사과들을 샀어요. You can't add 들 to sagwa, since 들 only attaches to people. Using it with apples or oranges or inanimate objects in general sounds really weird. You could use it like this. 학생들이 안 갔어요. The students didn't go. Here, 학생 is a person, so adding 들 is acceptable. Alright, 만. In the last lesson, I was really tempted to use 만 over and over in many different examples, but I resisted since we were going to learn it in this lesson. Last lesson we learned how to say 30분 동안 공부했어요. At that time, I really wanted to say 30분만 공부했어요. I only studied for 30 minutes. But 30 minutes is better than nothing, so 만 is actually a context-reliant word, like very much, as are many things in the Korean language. So let me just show you what I mean. 저만 봤어요. Only I saw it. Now I could also say 저만 봤어요. Do you only see me? All of a sudden, 저 turned from the subject to the object. And since 만 replaces the subject and object particles, well, we can't put them on, so we can't help identify which one it is. So it can be really confusing. Like, what on earth is going on? How are we supposed to know? Well, context is king. Let me show you one more thing. The same sentence, 저만 봤어요, could also mean, am I the only one who saw it? Now, I just switched 저 to being the subject again. What I'm trying to convey is, without context, we can't really know which one it is. We actually don't have to worry about it too much though, because context almost always makes it clear. I'll provide context and I won't tell you what it means, and you'll be able to tell. So, here's an example. Let's say there was a robbery at a store, and I'm the only witness. I could tell the cops, 저만 봤어요. What do you think that means? I'll tell you, only I saw it. Let's change the scenario a bit though. Let's say that you were with a group of friends when the robbery happened, and everyone else says they didn't see anything. You could say, 저만 봤어요? Am I the only one who saw it? Finally, let's say you and your significant other are walking in the mall, and a friend sees you and he starts talking to you, but he completely ignores your SL. You would point out that, hey, I'm not here alone, and all of a sudden he realizes that you were someone and he starts apologizing. You might ask him, 저만 봤어요? Did you only see me? See? Context makes things clearer. Hopefully that sheds some light onto why context is king. Let's move on. Part 3. The difference between 에서 and 에 was really confusing to me at first. I didn't know when to use which, but after reading this lesson a second time, I realized it was actually much simpler than I thought. The key was understanding 에 better. 에 is only used to indicate a certain place or time. So it indicates the location you're going to, location you're looking at, location you're putting something on, location that you place something in. What that means is, I went to the mall. I looked at her. I put it on the table. I found it in the fridge. All of these indicate a certain place or time. 에서, on the other hand, only deals with where I was when I did something. I'll say that again. 에서 is used to refer to where the subject is when he does something. If you remember this, you'll be able to reason out whether you need to use 에서 or 에. Time for some examples. 지금 미국에서 추워요. It's cold in the US right now. Now, this isn't talking about where I'm going, but it's talking about the location of where it's cold. Another meaning of 에서 that can add confusion is from. I went from here to there, or I live far from my work. 에서 is used in these kind of sentences. Let's look at a very common example. 저는 미국에서 왔어요, which means I'm from America, or more literally, I came from America. But what it means is I'm from America. You can insert any different country instead of America, and you'll be able to say like, I'm from here. All right, we spent some time on 에서, and that's still not everything, but we have to move on. So make sure to reread this part of the lesson to solidify your understanding, and also take a shot at the sentence practice video to see what it is you still need working on, or if you already understand it. All right, part 4. 부터까지. I remember the first time I saw these particles was in the following sentence. 머리부터 발끝까지, which means from head to toe. 부터 means from, or like from the start, and 까지 means to or until. So for example, 3시까지 기다렸어요. I waited until 3 o'clock. Or 지금부터 내일까지 기다릴 거예요. I'll wait from now until tomorrow. One more example. 나는 인천부터 서울까지 갈 거야. I'll go from Incheon to Seoul. 부터 is often attached to 처음 to mean from the start. So for example, 처음부터 싫어했어요. I didn't like it from the start. Now, 울어. 울어 can have many translations in English, but the main theme is that the word attached to 울어 is a means or a utility, like via something. So, for example, I cut the tree down with an axe. The axe is the mean, so 울어 would be attached to axe. It can also 울어 can also indicate direction, as in 이쪽으로 와요, come here, like in this direction. Another very common use of 울어 is to ask what something is in a language. So, for example, 이것은 한국어로 뭐예요? What is this in Korean? This is something I said a lot. I actually still use it a lot as well. Okay, one last usage of 울어. 울어 can also mean for or as. Let's just look at an example. 어제 저녁으로 햄버거 먹었어요. Yesterday I ate a hamburger for or as dinner. And also, although this lesson doesn't mention this kind of usage for other than meals, but it technically can be used for other things. So, for example, 이것은 선물로 받았어요. I got this as, or I got this for a gift. I wouldn't worry too much about remembering all the usages of 울어. I take it one usage at a time. Just know that it can be used in diverse ways. Eventually, you'll just get the feel for it. All right, that's it for this lesson. I'll link 2 separate Korean sign explanation videos that deal with 울어. I think they'll be super helpful, so be sure to check them out. Also, don't forget to check out the other videos that go along with this lesson. You can check them out in the description below.